Today I'm comparing premium steak from Aldi, Woolworths and Coles. I'm doing this because a few weeks ago I attempted to do exactly what I'm doing today but completely missed the premium options from both Aldi and Coles. So now I'm back attempting to redeem myself, and in the process we'll be providing you with a comprehensive breakdown of each individual steak as well as a blind taste test with my old man towards the end of the video to help me crown the winner. So as always, let's go get some steak. And we are off for the fourth time in about 2 months, which is 4 times more than I've ever been in the past 2 years, which is funny. So for anyone who has seen previous videos that I've done, then you might have noticed that a few weeks ago, I attempted to compare premium steak from Aldi, Woolworths and Coles. And obviously I copped a fair bit of slack. Fair bit of flack, I mean, in the video that I did last time because I completely missed those premium steak options from Coles and Aldi. So that is the motivation for this video. It's been super interesting because there's a massive separation between people that will just never go to a supermarket. And to be honest, I was one of those people before filming this series. It's funny, I've had a lot of people say that I should be trying steak from IGA as well. Never had IGA steak in my life. So if there's anyone in Melbourne and they know where to get good IGA steak, please let me know, because I'm probably going to do a video on that soon. So yeah, today I'm going to a completely different Coles to last time because I was convinced last time I could not find the premium steak from Coles anywhere. I found another local Coles in the area that I know for a fact has their premium grass-fed option, and then I'll be heading back to Aldi and Woolworths and buying the steak from there. A lot of people have said in my videos that Coles and Woolworths inject their cattle with Bovea. I've learned that that's not the case. The grass-fed steak that I'm buying does not contain all of that. It's their carbon neutral option that contains Bovea, and that's clearly labelled on the packaging. Pulling into Coles now. Let's get it. Have a guess where I am in Melbourne. Here we go. So this is the steak that I got last time, but today I'll be going for the Graze grass-fed option. Looks as though they've only got one Scotch Fillet. Free to roam. Historically, I would pick through a lot to try and find the best steak, but thankfully this one doesn't look too bad. It's a bit more expensive. I think the last one cost me $7. This is going to set me back $14.50, I think. This is the stuff you want to get. And like I said before, this is the carbon neutral one, which is the stuff that's injected with Bovea, which I don't want at all. But this grass-fed one that I have now, completely free from Bovea. So for anyone wondering, this is the stuff that you want to avoid. And funnily enough, that is almost $7 more expensive than this one, which is the better, healthier option. I'm never going to be doing a comparison on that steak, don't you worry. Steak secured from Coles, and off we go to Coles and Aldi. Sorry, Woolworths and Aldi. My bad. Gee, I'm just about Aldi and Woolworths main customer by now. If you got anything else you want me to do, please let me know. Any ideas you think would be worthwhile pursuing, just let me know. Maybe I'll do a local butcher. I'll do a local butcher marathon. Go to like 40 local butchers in a day or something. Anyone who's watching, just a quick little message. I do appreciate the support. Pulling into the big AW now, Aldi Woolworths. Let's go. So here we are, back at the previous winner, Woolworths. Actually know where their steak is for once. So here we are. Where are we? Oh, gee, I said I knew, but clearly not. So this is what we're after. Here we go. The grass-fed beef Scotch fillet. Like I said in previous videos, I always like to go through and make sure I'm selecting the best option possible. This one's a bit thicker than the others. And it also got pretty decent marbling, so I think I'm going to go for that one. Steak secured from Woolworths. I did notice that the price has gone up by 50 cents. Maybe that's because of my video. 270 grams and it's going to set me back $15.50, but a few weeks ago it was $15, so very interesting. I've seen a few people say that it doesn't really matter about the marbling, but I tend to disagree. Most of the steaks that I've had in the past that have good marbling tend to have better quality. And for the third time in 3 weeks, I am pulling up to Aldi. Definitely cheaper than the other two. So here we are. I've since learnt from the previous video that this is the steak that I should be buying. And as you can see, it doesn't look bad at all. I'm liking the look of this one here. So look at the difference here. One's got a really deep red color with some good marbling, and one's got really no color at all. So that's 410 grams, cost me $18.45. Aldi steak secured. I think it's time to head home and get back in the kitchen to start the comparison. But before I do, which steak do you think's gonna win? So we are back in the kitchen. Got our Aldi steak here, Coles steak here, and our Woolworths steak here. This is the exact steak that I got from Woolworths last time, but the previous steaks from both Aldi and Coles were no good. So today I've stepped it up another level. This is 100% grass-fed, graze-fed option from Coles, and this is a 21-day aged Scotch Fillet steak. Doesn't specify whether it's grass-fed or not. This is the best you can get from Aldi, hands down. You can only buy this in a pack at Aldi, so I couldn't get my hands on one, so I'll whack that other one back in the fridge. So this was the only option I had to buy at Coles. From what I saw, the marbling wasn't too bad, but I mean, looks can be deceiving. From a looks perspective, I'm going with Aldi. But I'll let you see for yourself. So this is the steak from Aldi. This is, out of all three steaks, probably the least appetizing from a looks perspective. This is the premium grass-fed steak from Coles. And this is the thickest of the lot, steak from Woolworths. Similar to Aldi, it's got a good level of intramuscular fat, nothing crazy, but definitely looks a lot more appetizing than the comparable grass-fed option that Coles have. So we've got our little trusty scale here. And before we go any further, Woolworths steak has an estimated weight of 270 grams and the Coles steak has an estimated weight of 250 grams. Aldi actually specified the weight. From memory, it said 410 grams for two steaks. So I'm gonna go with our Woolly steak first. That weighs 298 grams. 28 grams extra for that. I reckon the Coles steak is gonna be bang on. And that's 253. And this is the steak from Aldi. Doesn't have an estimate, but it weighs in at 253 grams. So maths was never my strong point at school, but I've just done some quick calculations on what they actually weighed and what they actually cost me. So the Coles steak cost me $14.50. That weighed 253 grams, which according to that maths is around $57.30 a kilo, which is surprisingly the most expensive steak of the lot. The Woolworths steak, which cost me $15.50, weighed in an estimated 270 grams, but was actually 298 grams, came in at $52 a kilo. Interestingly enough, if the Woolworths steak came in at 270 grams, it would also be $57 a kilo. So Coles and Woolworths, from a price perspective, based on their estimated weight, are basically the exact same, and they actually specified here. So it's $44.99 a kilo for Aldi. I didn't even need to do the maths, but based off what that individual steak cost me, it would be around $40 a kilo, which doesn't take into consideration the other steak that I purchased as well. Like I said, maths is never my strong point. Not even sure if I got all of that right, but I'm trying. That's all that matters. I'm gonna start by seasoning them first, which is something I didn't do in the last video. Copped a lot of hate. I'm gonna season these generously now. I will be cooking these over charcoal, which is a bit different to what I did last week. I'm a big advocate for seasoning my steak at least an hour before if you are using flaky salt, but if you're using thinner salt like this, it's okay, especially if you are cooking on charcoal. If you use a flaky salt, which I'm a big fan of, mind you, it will not develop a crust because it's not sitting directly on the surface. That's just something to be mindful of if you are a home cook and you prefer to cook on a pan as opposed to over charcoal. But I would recommend placing your steaks on a rack when you're salting them, especially if you're putting them in the fridge, just because if you don't, there'll be a pool of liquid underneath the steak. Historically, if I was cooking a steak like this is the time I'd put them in the fridge, about an hour before I cook them, but it's a bit different today. So I think it's time to get these outside and get these on the charcoal. How's the serenity, ladies and gentlemen? Bit of a change of scene for this week. Of course, I'm using Firebrand's premium hardwood lump charcoal. By far some of the best charcoal that I've ever used. I'll set this aside now that I've loaded up the chimney and I will light this charcoal up. Got a fire lighter under here. I am sort of in a bit of a rush. So if you're in a bit of a rush and you've got one of these blowers, it's actually a great way to speed up the process. Give that a bit of a blow. And I want to make sure that my dad isn't hanging around for too long. I'm not one of those people. I don't like making people wait, especially when there's steak to be served. So it's coming up on about 20 minutes now. And as you can see, the charcoal is absolutely humming. You really want to make sure it's like this. You want to make it as hot as possible because the aim of when you're cooking thin steaks with charcoal is to develop a crust quickly. So if the charcoal isn't hot enough, then you're not going to get a crust. And you'll see here how good this looks. So as you can see, there were some bigger chunks. So I like to add them all towards one part of the grill because obviously you want as much heat as possible around this point. That's what we like. When we're cooking a thin steak, that is exactly what we want. Woolie's on first, thickest boy first. And just because these are fairly thin steaks, I do like to use a bit of beef tallow. So yeah, as you can see, that's already starting to flame, which is what I want.
Well, I'm about to leave, so I'll get there.
Okay.
I'll be like a bit after that. Like I'm walking out the door now.
Okay, so Dad just told me he's about 20 minutes away. So I will aim for, just because they are thin, an internal temperature of around 45 degrees. It's probably been about 1.5 minutes, so I'm going to give that a flip. I'm not even sure if you can see that, but the crust is just unreal already. So I've just put the Aldi steak on. There is a thicker part. The spinalis is actually thicker than the main part of the steak. So the thicker part of the steak, I do like to put that directly over the charcoal. And I think it's time to get me Coles steak on at the same time. That flame will start really kicking up now. Woolly steak coming together. The thinner part of the steak, I've sort of moved away from the heat source. Start sitting at around 43, 44, 45. So it's coming up to 45. For these thin steaks, it gets really risky. Really risky if you take it above 45, just because it cooks so quickly at that point. Just because the crust is developed, I can even set it aside and just cook it indirectly. That Aldi steak is coming along very nicely. I'm gonna move that Coles steak around a bit, and as you'll see now, oh yeah, that's what we want. I think that Woolworths steak is done. Aldi steak's probably not far off at all, and I reckon the thinnest steak of them all isn't too far off. I do like to use a finger test sometimes. I don't know if you've ever used that before. I've got a free ebook on my website. If you're not 100% sure of what it is, I think that is all done. I'll get them inside and we'll start the comparison and then the taste test. So we are back. These steaks have obviously had a very good rest. This is our steak from Woolworths. We've got our steak from Aldi here. This is our steak from Coles. Woolie's up first. Let's see how it looks. Oh, it's a beautiful sound. That is a beautiful sound, and this steak, I probably undercooked this, to be honest. I think there'll be some people out there that accuse me of it being too raw. I think I was probably probing this part of the steak, which is a rookie error. Can't please everyone, can you? We'll slice open this Aldi steak. That one's nice. It's a perfect mid-rare, just what we like. Happy with that one. And on goes the Coles, last but not least, or potentially the least. Definitely looks the worst. This is probably the most cooked of them all, which is not surprising given the thickness, but still acceptable. Coles, Woolworths, Aldi. You're putting on the blindfold soon. Don't look at the steaks, but maybe come over. Don't look at them. Whack the blindfold on, and then you sit down here. So you don't know what's happening today, do you, Dad?
No idea. Just passing. Thought I'd drop in.
Don't
put any sharp knives in front of me.
No.
Yeah, well, this could be a nice little entree before dinner.
Well, this could be dinner. Who knows? There's 3 steaks in front of you, Dad.
I'm not gonna eat it all.
The purpose of today's video is to figure out which steak you prefer. I'm gonna give you steak number 1. You're gonna pick it. Am I gonna feed you?
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
It's pretty solid. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of 10?
Ooh, see a good 7.5, 8.
Okay. Jeez, setting the bar high. Okay.
It's sort of a bit thin though.
We like a thicker steak.
Don't get any juice on my beautiful white t-shirt.
Yeah. Next bit. Steak number 2.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's softer.
Softer?
A bit chewier.
So it's softer but chewier.
Well, it's sort of soft, like felt like it wasn't as cooked as the other one. Still good.
Okay, well, maybe give you a more cooked part. What about this part? This bit. So you're getting...
Yep, that's good.
Yeah. Would it be better than the first one?
Same ballpark.
Same ballpark. Okay.
3 different steaks.
3 different steaks, yeah. This is the 3rd one.
It was almost halfway between the 2.
Halfway between the 2.
Felt like it was less chewy than the second one, but more chewy than the first one.
Okay.
But it had a nice crust, that one.
What would be the order?
I'd probably go last one first, first one second, and second one third.
Interesting. You can come up. Aldi, you preferred Aldi.
The best, yeah.
And then we had Coles, and then we had Woolworths last. The Aldi steak was actually the cheapest.
Right, there you have it. Well, whatever the conclusion is.
Well, thank you for joining me on this week's video, Dad.
No worries.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Just give me a bit more of that.
There's plenty to take home. Thanks, Dad.